Soothing sounds which mask some powerful and poetic messages. Kaya Byinshii's music blends blues, reggae and folk. The Rwandan artist has just released her first studio album, which she calls an ode to growth, a fitting way to describe her ever-increasing popularity. Kaya, welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
Now, your first studio album has emerged about a year after that record, Nyabyinshi, your first
Yes.
EP. You describe that as a call for self-love, gentleness. Has there been a shift in your message, your attitude since then? Describe the mood a bit of this record, Ukwiyuburura.
Ukwiyuburura. Yeah, thank you. The first project was talking about, self-love and all that. There hasn't really been there has been a shift because this second, my very first album, Ukwiyuburura, it talks about growth, like basically still being the same person but evolving. It's not so different from self-love because it's more about finding out who you really are and working on what you think needs growth and taking a new path if need be. Because actually Ukwiyuburura is a word in Kinyarwanda for the skin peeling of a snake. Donc the skin peeling of a snake, which is like it for me, it's like a symbol of a snake is one of the many things, examples of skin peeling, which is like a symbol of changing, but not actually changing, but growing.
Well, let's hear from one of the tracks on that album. This is called Believe.
Even makes your life easier. The walls of Jericho got too excited. 7 times running was too sweet. But the believed it can actually happen.
So speaking of regeneration and growth, how would you say that your musical journey is evolving? Were there new instruments, new sounds that you wanted to include on this album?
So on this album, I was mostly experimenting with there's 12 tracks on it, and they have different styles, if I can say, but they still fall under me. But there's like experimental type of beats. There's a little bit of blues that I fused the Rwandan traditional instrument called dinanga, but tried to work with the producer to fuse it with electric. So it was an experiment. And the more I learn about sounds, the more people that I listen to the music, all those influences. For me, they were like that's all I put in there to experiment with the different genres.
Okay, well, let's get an idea, for the sake of comparison, of your earlier work. This is the track Blurry.
I can touch you, but you can't. I'm talking to you, but you can't. Oh, it's blurry. It's blurry. You can't even hand me down,
So Kaya, I was really interested to learn that on your previous EP, Nyabyinshi, you were inspired by a mythical Rwandan queen. Can you tell us a bit about her and that matriarchal influence? Were women role models a big influence for you, like in arts or in life?
Yeah, thank you. I really love that woman because for me she's like she's an inspiration. So she has basically been she was a powerful woman who is in history of Rwanda because she had some powers to bless or to give. That's why her actual name is Nyabyinshi, which you might know maybe from the Jamaican, because I believe she's a spirit that has traveled so many countries, and in our country, she was born as Nyabyinshi, who we called Nyabyinshi because she was believed to possess a lot. So like people used to go to her to ask for wellness, basically. I was inspired by that, by the fact that she was her generosity and her power, because she was well respected and they used to worship her. I was so interested in knowing her, who she was and what she was capable of, which I believe with music it's the same thing, because you have to be generous, you have to be able to tell your story.
Moving on to another artist who draws inspiration from ancestral traditions and from his bicultural experience. That's French rapper Kohndo. Now, on his latest album, Higher Than the Eiffel Tower, he charts the journey of a young man in Cotonou, Benin, as he traverses parts of Africa and takes us on a musical voyage. Take a look.
My character Manga travels across different countries, that is Mali, Morocco. Then he arrives in France to try and find a brother he's dreamed about. Then on the musical side, we started out with Fela's music from the 1970s, which in my opinion really marks the beginning of hip-hop.
La mer semble si calme à l'horizon, belle comme un apaisement, infini en comparaison. Ma vie paraît si dérisoire, mes pieds ont retrouvé la terre. Ça y est, je peux enfin y croire. Les couleurs de l'Espagne sont rouge-orange avec des teintes ivoire. Devant mon assiette, je vis merci pour l'espoir. Une main tendue.
Pour moi, les premiers rappeurs.
For me, the first rappers were griots. And apparently the word to rap comes from a Mandinka word which is rep, which means to chat up, to seduce. Rapping is about speaking rhythmically over music with different notes and pitches. So in fact, when you're rapping, you're really chatting. And what we're involved in is an ancestral form of expression.
Une culture qui est très ancestrale.
So Kaya, Kohndo mentions griots there, that West African storytelling tradition. We could compare them to rappers today, and there's a lot of storytelling in your work. I believe you also write poetry. That's a part of your artwork. How did writing poetry evolve into music?
Thanks. It didn't really, I wouldn't say it evolved into music, but it's something, because with music I also write. I used to do mostly spoken word, so that's how poetry came, and I still do it. I wouldn't say it evolved into music because it's like a parallel type of, but instead it evoked my musical spirit, because the more I was composing with the poem, trying to fit it in a certain rhythm, trying to find a certain melody, it evoked my spirit for like creating an actual song that is a song, which is not which doesn't have anything to do with poetry. So like it evoked the spirit of wanting to create more musically.
Well, art feeds into art. Kaya, thank you so much for joining us today. But finally, I believe that there's a new instrument in your repertoire, the ukulele, and you've kindly agreed to play us out. So we'll leave you with an acoustic version of Believe. Kaya, take it away.
Your life easier. The walls of Jericho got too excited. 7 times around it was too sweet. But the bond believed it can actually happen. Believe it makes your life easier. The walls of Jericho got too excited. 7 times around it was too sweet. But the band believed it can actually happen. Believe, that's why Adam and Eve, they sold their letty to last. Amataguran Itari. Yes, we are meant to live. That's why Adam and Eve, they sold their letty to last. Amataguran Itari.
Versailles, Mont Saint-Michel, the Louvre are well-known stars of French heritage. But French genius and France harbors many other hidden treasures. The arts, gastronomy, architecture, as well as nature's wonders. Come along with France 24, discover France's living heritage. From young apprentices to accomplished craftsmen and farmers, to Michelin star sporting chefs, meet these people whose passion for their professions preserve and drive French heritage.
You are here on France 24 and France24.com.